my viewers. I'm a scientist here to go through a portal of time travel to go to ancient Rome. I got my trusty toga here to look like a villager, so yep. And this ain't no ordinary toga. This is a totally toga. I also got my tablet, which has tons of notes. I know it is not a phone. So yeah, I got our trusty camera here to record some videos as we go. And let's take a trip to ancient Rome. Oh, whoa! No, my toga! Oh my God! I'm in Rome, guys! I'm in Rome. Look at this. As part of my job as a scientist, I have to convince you guys to come time traveling with me to see ancient Rome and maybe even live in it. Don't worry, if you need to, you can time travel back to 21st century, of course. First of all, sorry, got a little tongue-tied. It's an ancient Rome after all. We are going to talk about food, of course. So, for starters, and of course with my trusty notes on my not a phone, get it? First of all, the Romans didn't sit at tables to eat their meals. They spread out on couches around a low square table. They're basically eating while lying down. They also ate most of their meals with fingers, though they did use some spoons for some of the dishes, such as soup, and have knives to cut their food into little bite-sized pieces. For fruits and veggies, they ate different things, like carrots, radishes, beets, dates, turnips, pears, plums, pomegranates, almonds, olives, figs, celery, apples, cabbages, pumpkins, grapes, mushrooms, and many more. Meat and fish. For their meat, the rich people of Rome ate beef, pork, wild boar, venison, hare, guinea fowl, pheasant, chicken, geese, peacock, duck, and even dormouse, served with honey. The poorer Romans didn't eat as much meat as the rich, but it still featured in their diet. For fish, lots of seafood was consumed by the Romans. They particularly enjoyed shellfish and fish sauce known as liquamen. Bread was a staple part of the Roman diet. 3 grains of bread were made, and only rich people ate refined white bread. Pottage, a thick porridge-like stew, was made from millet or wheat. To this, the Romans would add cooked meats, sauces, and spices. Well, what do you know? We're in a Roman clothing shop. Not Forever 21. This is an ancient Roman clothing shop. Men wore 2 types of clothing, the tunica and the toga. As you can see here by my lovely toga, not just any toga, but the totally killing it toga. The tunica was a short woolen undergarment with short sleeves. By contrast, to wear a long tunic with long sleeves was considered effeminate and was generally avoided by society as a whole. The toga was specifically meant as a public display garment. The tunica was also worn by any people within the comforts of their own homes. We are in the Colosseum, one of the most fantastic places in all of ancient Rome. This building is now a major tourist attraction in Rome these days. It was also a major attraction for those who want to see the various events in this vast building. The Colosseum could hold over 50,000 people, and the viewing public were well looked after by the authorities. The temperature in Rome in the summer could be very hot, and the audience at the Colosseum was protected from the sun by a huge canopy that was put over the top of the stadium where needed. The event stage at the Colosseum were so many. A lot of them all involved death and destruction. There are well-known gladiator fights and the feeding of Christians to lions. Yes, it can get confusing because of my Roman English, or my Roman language. There was also a number of lesser-known events such as mock sea battles involving ships, animal circus acts, animal fighting animals, and animal hunts. However, animals were the secondary part of the show. Those who came to the Colosseum came to see people fight to the death. Famous gladiators had a huge following, but many gladiators were the Roman equivalent of cannon fodder. there to entertain and be killed. Yes, all Romans back then just loved people just beating each other and just killing each other. Yes. Put on! It's on! Ah! Hello everyone. Sorry about that tiger attack just happened. Sadly our cameraman got eaten, but he did leave us some nice pictures and we need to finish the job. Anyway, let's continue. Education was very important to the ancient Romans. The rich people in Rome put a great deal of faith in education, while the poor people did not receive a formal education. Many still learned to read and write. Children from rich families, however, were well schooled and were taught by a private tutor at home or went to what would recognize as schools. There were two types of schools in ancient Rome. The first type of school was for the younger children aged between 11 or 12, where they learned to read, write, and to do basic math. At these schools, children worked on an abacus to learn basic mathematics. For writing, they used a stylus and a wax tablet. Older children, however, would go to more advanced schools where they did specific studies on topics such as public speaking. Instead of 5 days in an average week, children worked a 7-day week of school. There were no breaks and no weekends. However, this is not as intended, for at least what you think, because there were many school holidays, usually just religious holidays, and that there were a lot of them. That meant that children didn't have to go to school. Market days also resulted in school closures, and children also, of course, had a summer holiday. Because who wouldn't like a summer holiday? Girls actually did not go to school. Yeah, lucky girls, of course. Girls from the rich families did receive an education, but not from an actual school. It was done at home. They were taught how to run a good household and how to be a good wife in general, for preparation when they got married. Part of their education, learning, would have been music, sewing, and how to run a kitchen. Last but not least, we'll be looking at how houses were in ancient Rome. Roman homes were so well built, if you were one of the rich families, that many examples of Roman homes exist throughout the Roman Empire. If you were poor, however, you lived in simple flats or just average everyday apartments. The homes for rich people were very different than a poor person's home or apartment. The rich lived in single-story houses which were built around a central hall known as an atrium. Atriums had rooms opening up off of them, and they were also open to the weather as they had no roofs. Many atriums had a trough built into their design so that water could be collected when it rained, so no flood would happen. Besides the atrium, there was actually a second open courtyard known as a peristylium. This area included a garden, and it also had rooms opening up off of it. In the homes of the wealthy, the garden served as a meeting point, and they were designed to be shady and comfortable so that people could meet them regardless of whether the sun was fierce. You know, to have a nice time out in the sun. The main rooms of the homes were decorated with colored plaster walls, and, if they could be afforded, because they're rich after all, mosaics. These decorated floors were a statement of your wealth and importance to show how much swagger you have. The grander mosaics had to be done by experts, and they were expensive, but it's all worth it if you do want to show your swagger in Rome. Whew, man, that was a long explaining to do for the past while. Well, anyway, we're done with all this explaining, so we might as well be heading back to modern 21st century, good old 21st century, with iPhones and Apple Watches and Samsungs. See you there! What's going on? What's going on? Alright. Yep, we're back in the 21st century, everybody. I don't need this toga anymore. See? Wasn't this just amazing? Anyway, I hope this really good experience has hopefully got you wondering and begging me to take you back to live in ancient Rome. And I hope this video has helped you, like really. And also I'd like to give you thanks to the cameraman who helped record these videos right before we started. Woo! Alright, some of the stuff I said didn't really make sense. Maybe because I was just reading off of a tablet, like an ancient Roman tablet, not an iPad. Of course not. And I hope you enjoyed it. And please consider coming with me to live in ancient Rome.
The winner takes all. It's the thrill of one more kill, the last one to fall. We'll never sacrifice their will. Don't ever look back on the world closing in. Be on the attack with your wings on the wind. All the things will begin. And it's sweet, sweet, sweet victory. And it's ours for the taking. It's ours for the